What's going on, Quantum Nation? Welcome back. My name's Quantum, and today we're going to be talking about the Vizio P Series Quantum. So a few of you guys have messaged me on Facebook and asked me to do this video on Linus Tech Tips talking about the Vizio P Series Quantum X of 2021. Very weird that Vizio named it that, considering it launches in 2020, but I'll digress. So I'm going to weigh in with my opinion, and I'll be doing it by comparing it directly to the 2019 Vizio P Series Quantum X. Okay. So for starters, I noticed that they mentioned in their video it's had banding on 2019, but this year it didn't really have banding and it wasn't a big issue. However, I can safely say it still does have banding because when they showed the Linus Tech Tips logo, you clearly saw banding that they drew attention to and told you not to worry about it because it was a highly compressed, really bad background. But the problem is that shows a lack of processing power. So what this means for you is that low bitrate content like YouTube videos that are usually highly compressed and don't look good anyway are probably going to still look bad, and you're going to be experiencing banding. So that's something that I took away from, and I don't know if I have necessarily a good or bad opinion on it. I just think it is what it is, right? We already know what Vizio is trying to do, and we'll talk about that. But I honestly feel like it's one of those things, just like the P Series Quantum X from 2019. It's going to look perfect on paper, but you're going to get it home and it's going to be something else. We know that because if you look, you can see that they also had a lot of halos around the YouTube text. Now, Linus was quick to forgive it, dismissing it, almost calling it just annoying, but it was definitely something more than annoying. This is a clear defect that has been a part of the budget TVs for a while, and I think that if more people start highlighting this as a problem and calling it as such, I mean, obviously it would get fixed. So yeah, that's something I noticed on the Vizio P Series Quantum X from 2019 as well. And the fact that it's happening on the 2021 line, which launches in 2020, is no coincidence. It just kind of seems like they're just giving you more of the same. Now, they're hiding behind the fact that this is an early engineering model, and pretending as though nothing remotely close to what you're seeing now will be the end result. But here's the deal, my friends. Okay, this is exactly like when you see like alpha footage or beta footage of a video game and you're like, the game's pretty much mostly done, and the developers swear up and down that it's not. You get the final product and lo and behold, bugs, glitches, and the whole nine. This is a lot like that in my personal view, but we'll see how it does. Now, I also noticed that, in recognizing that it's struggling with that low bit rate content or that highly compressed content, that kind of is a dead giveaway at the fact that you have to worry for older stuff like over-the-air TV and cable TV as well, which again, that's a big part of the consumer market here. And another thing I'm worried about is the legacy device users, which again, 8-bit content, older 8-bit content, not going to look fantastic anyway. And if you're having a TV that already struggles with highly compressed content and, maybe not the best and latest and greatest, that might be a problem because they have legacy hookups on the new P Series Quantum X from 2020, which launches in 2020. It's 2020, but they call it the 2021 line. It's really stupid. I can't stress that. But anyway, I mean, I can see that being a problem if you're trying to hook up, like, let's say, a PlayStation 2. I'm pretty sure you're going to run into some banding on those games. So, a PlayStation 1, it doesn't have the smooth gradation features that it would need to smooth that stuff out. And so I think that's going to be a problem. Another thing that I noticed is that the internal chip is very weak for upscaling Netflix, which is a huge no-go. Linus was complaining about low resolution even though having good internet, and I think that's something that's going to be, again, widespread across multiple people. I do not think that this is going to be isolated to an engineering model, because this was the case for me as well on the P Series Quantum X of 2019. It just wasn't an absolute champ as far as your upscaling goes, and I just don't see how this will be able to change a lot of that, at least as far as streaming goes. Budget TVs don't typically do the greatest with streaming, and I think this is going to be more of the same. And I'm pretty sure, again, we have to be realistic and scale those expectations because this was done to keep the costs low. But again, it's going to be the same as always. Now, it still doesn't have voice control. We can confirm that by Vizio's website and what they've said about the product. So again, another thing cutting costs right there. So we can kind of see what this is. I mean, it still has the same uncomfortable remote that I remember seeing that I unboxed with the Vizio P Series Quantum X. Okay, it's that non-ergonomic weird shape that really will give you hand cramps. So I noticed that and picked that up immediately while watching him do his little review there. And it just, in my professional assessment of this product, seems like this is yet another rushed HDMI 2.1 TV to capitalize on next generation PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, along with the brand new NVIDIA 3000 series consumers out there. I wouldn't buy it if I were you guys. I think that it still has a lot of issues that I remember from the P-Series Quantum X of 2019. And even though Linus is telling you to get it for your PS5, and unless you want to shell out money for an OLED, okay, I'm going to tell you in plain English, I would not buy that TV at all. I think you are going to be highly disappointed unless you're, again, for those people who are coming from, like, we're talking old ass TVs from like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, yeah, anything's an upgrade to you, okay? Have some standards. And I mean that in the nicest way possible, because this is not it. It gets a whole lot better in 2020 than that. And you can look in prior years, you can look around, but don't buy something that's clearly not up to the batting plate. And that's just as real as it gets. And so far, it's looking like Vizio dropped the ball, but appeared perfect on paper with all the HDMI specifications and HDR specifications to razzle and dazzle you, but then give you a lot of the same inconveniences that we know and love. And by love, I mean absolutely can't fucking stand from, again, Vizio. So it's just typical, hey, I'm perfect on paper, but, you know, it is what it is. Now, who knows? Maybe this assessment is wrong, but from that video, that was my impression. So I hope this answered all of you guys who were inquiring about this over on Facebook, you guys' questions. I hope that answered it. And I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about Linus Tech Tips video on this particular television? Thanks for watching the #1 brand in honesty. And until the next video, I'll see you guys later.